Sunrise on Saturday, I'm headed down to the lake, just my buddy and me. Got my boat hooked up to my Chevy truck. I'm running high, but I ain't ever coming down. Time to back the boat down the ramp again. Do everything we can to come back in with a wind sag. That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on the smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. You gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loo throttle, bet you like what you feel. Step on a deck.
Give it a whirl. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could sing, but I cannot sing. I am terrible at that. And so I'm not going to put you guys through it. However, in the morning on my drive, I'm going to be jamming out because I think I sound fabulous. Okay. Y'all are going to have to forgive me tonight. As you can tell, if you're watching live with us, I am not at home. I'm not in the office. I'm not in my studio. I'm actually on the road. So I'm a little discombobulated. I think that's the proper word. I think that's a real word, right? Somebody can correct me. Discombobulated. I think that's a real thing. I think that's a real terminology. So you guys, I tell you what, I'm loving the excitement around this series of shows around the 10 because 8:30 I went live and bam, there was 40 people ready to rock and roll, ready to watch. So the champ is in the house, Mr. Mike Elsey. Tim Isaacs, what's up, brother? How are you, man? Mel Ash is in the house. Brian's in here. Dylan Fuqua, the KBF kid. The man himself, Mr. Matthew Scotch, is in the house tonight. What's up, guys? Once again, like I said, my apologies for being a little all over the place tonight. We're eventually going to rein this thing in, as compared to most shows. But like I said, I'm on the road. I'm actually at the in-laws' house. My in-laws purchased a new home, and my father-in-law retired after almost 40 years of being a pastor in the Methodist Church, and took another job immediately. And so they moved up upstate North Georgia, and so I came up here, spent a little time away with the family. The wife and the kids are here doing Christmas, kind of hanging out. So that's why I'm not at home. Not that any of you guys care about any of that, but, hey, oh, well, it is what it is, right? Let's get this thing started right. We got folks chiming in all over the place. Let's do it. You guys ready? Let's get this rolling. What's going on, Facebook Live? Woo! What up, everybody? Welcome to the weigh-in. I'm your host, Scott Beutjer, and holy crap, am I excited. We've got the dragon, and I'm going to let him explain that. We got the dragon on the show tonight. This dude, I'm going to get some more details because, to be honest with you, I know this guy, but I don't know him as well as I know some of these other cats. But what I know about this guy and all of the homework that I did and all of the research and the time that we got to spend on the water together down at the NC this past year was definitely good storytelling. And I'm not going to lie, I'm really mad it didn't make the show because it was phenomenal storytelling. But this guy's a gamer. This guy puts in the work on the water, off the water. He's very cerebral, much more cerebral than I think he puts on. And I'm gonna dig into that a little bit because I honestly think he hides that a little bit. This dude's smart, and I don't mean a smart. I mean he's smart, and I think that he hides that a pretty good bit. And I don't know if that's something he does intentional or not, but we're gonna get into that a little bit. But this dude had a phenomenal year. Worked his way into to the 10, and is now biting for. Do I have that graphic? If you guys didn't see it yesterday, check this out. This is now biting. Let me see if I can get my ugly face off the screen. Sorry, guys, I'm doing one screen. Y'all bear with me. Is now in a fight with the other 11 guys for his take of $31,000. This is, if you guys are just tuning in and just checking into this thing, this is the weigh in where we are talking about the 10. The 10 is presented by DZ and Kissimmee Sports. This is kayak bass fishing's mothership. This is the NC is a big deal. It's a ton of people. It's a lot of money. For me as a fan, this is the pinnacle. These guys all get together. We're going to be in Kissimmee Sports down at the Kissimmee Chain of Lakes in Florida this year. KBF rolls out the red carpet for them, puts them all in a house. They come in with all types of swag. They live there. They fellowship there. They eat breakfast. They rig rods. They clean boats. They do all of that stuff together under the same roof, and then go out and compete. And this year, first place is taking home $10,000. Every single guy that makes this tournament is walking into the house with $1,000. Their take of the rest of the other money decides on where they finish. From fifth up, it only gets better than that original $1,000. This is Jamie's first year in, and so we're gonna see what he does, what he thinks, and how he feels about it. So I'm excited about it. There's that graphic. Let's not waste any more time. Oh, hey, how about that? How about to pull me up? Sorry, guys, I'm Dylan here. Let's pull Mr. Broad into the show tonight and get this thing rolling. Two things I want you guys to do as I'm bringing Jamie in. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are presented by Fish USA, America's Tackle Shop. As you guys can see, I'm rocking the Fish USA hoodie. These guys, straight up, these guys won me over about a year ago. They came into the space hot and heavy, doing a bunch of different things. I sat on the fence and waited to kind of see what they were doing, and I realized that they were investing in the community. They were investing into the sport, and not only were they investing, not only were they were they writing a check and investing. These guys were coming to events. These guys were setting up booths. These guys were at almost everything that KBF was doing last year, and to me, that's what won me over. So when I sat down at ICAST this year and had that conversation, I said, hey, how can I come be a part of what you guys are doing? We had been talking before, but they're doing phenomenal things. Go check them out. If for some crazy reason you're on a rock and you don't know who they are, go to fishusa.com and check them out. Now's the time of year to be getting everything set up and ready and rigged for the coming year. So what I want you guys to do is, if you're just tuning in, I want you to smash that share button. Remember that Chad has put out $1,000 bounty. So if you throw out a share of this video and you hashtag DZ the 10, and if you're pulling for Jamie, you can tag Jamie Broad in that post or any of the other 10 guys. And over the course of this next couple of weeks, every single one of these things will get shared. Chad's going to go in and put them all in a computer system, and somebody's going to win $1,000 DZ gift card. So that's really kind of about it. If you guys are just tuning in, drop in the comment section where you're watching from. And there's Mr. Jamie himself. What's going on, brother? How are you, man? Doing good, man. Doing good. So now I talked to you a little bit earlier behind the scenes in the green room. You work today, or you spent some time with the family today? You spent time with the kids? Nice. Now you're a family man. You've got 4 kids. Your oldest is like 18 or 19, right? And then you've got 2 12-year-olds and a 9-year-old, right? So let's just pause there. Like I've got 3 toddlers, but only 1 girl. 3 girls? I mean, bro, what's that like? All right, Jamie, I got everybody commenting saying we don't have any sound from you. Try that again. See if you got any sound kicking up there. Y'all give me just a second, guys. We'll see if we can pull that up there. See if we can get him pulled up. Y'all haven't missed anything just yet. Still got settings there, Jamie. Y'all give me just 1 second, guys. Little technical difficulties. Jamie, I'm going to kick you. Come back in and see what we do. All right, let's see here. I'm going to kick him to the curb, guys, and see if we can bring him back in. My apologies there. We'll bring that right back in. The only thing we got into so far was talking about the kids. He's a family guy. He's a guy that, like I said before, is always churning, always doing something. I was really impressed by learning about his 9 to 5 and learning what he does, regularly. So let's see if we can get him back here now. There's Jamie kicking back in. Let's see if we get you there. All right, buddy. I hear you. It's about a 45-second delay. I heard you before. So let's see if we get you now. Let's see. When you guys comment, I should pull up on my phone where I don't have the delay, huh? You guys bear with me. We're trying to get this thing figured out. Y'all let me know whether or not we got some audio. Mark says Lynette is in the house. Dylan says, Jamie Broad, you're my hero. Can't wait to hear you though. All right, there we go. We got audio. Brock, is that audio? Is that a yep for we got Jamie now?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, we're live. Finally.
All right, there we go. Let's see what we get in there. Yep. All right. Craig says we hear you, so we're good. Says Illinois is taxing my audio stream. All right. Let's see if we get you now. Shane's chiming in. Brian, everybody's telling us we got you. So everybody's saying great sound now. All right, cool. So we didn't miss much other than talking about the kids. That's what they all missed. I got to hear it. But you are a family man. Your oldest is your only boy at 19. You got a couple of 12-year-old girls and a 9-year-old that live in the house. And so growing up, having the girls in the house, you said that was what?
It's interesting.
I got you.
Way to put it.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, with those girls, sometimes they hate each other, sometimes they love each other, but most of the time they're ready to kill each other. So It happens.
That makes sense. So does that aid in your escape to the kayak?
They all have kayaks too, which is funny.
Really?
My little one used to ride in the back of mine, but I finally ended up having to kick her out and get her own.
Nice.
So,
well, at 9, yeah, she's probably paddling or pedaling her own now.
Oh, she wants pedals.
She wants pedals, huh?
She's had it with the other one.
I got you. Looking for the pedals. I got you. Makes sense. So now I want to go back a little bit. Now you've only been in this competitively. This was your second full season, right?
Yes.
So take us all the way back, man. Where did you grow up fishing? Where did your love for the outdoors and water? I know you're a Louisiana, Texas guy. Where did that stem from, boss?
Oh, I grew up fishing since I was little. Great grandmother fishing brim with cane poles. Then ended up, once I got out of the military, traveled around for a while, settled back in East Texas 12 years ago and picked it back up. Bought a kayak about 8 years ago, just a little FS10 from Bass Pro Shop. And nice. I still have it. But me and a couple of buddies, we used to go down the river between Jefferson, Caddo Lake. That was our go-to. And we just happened to stumble across the East Texas Kayak Group. They were kicking off their full season.
That's like walking into an Ace Hardware. Hammer, 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 hammer.
Oh, we didn't know any better. But that first tournament was like I ended up losing 2 fish off my board. Got blown around in 30-mile-an-hour winds. Didn't know what I was doing on a big lake like that, and came in 4th. So just stuck with it.
So now, where was? When you said you got into the kayak thing, but when did you realize that there was competition at this level in the kayak space?
It was a weird one because we found out about just the East Texas group having an event, and then got on Facebook, started doing some research, found KBF, and found some of the online events, and it just kind of snowballed. The first year was just kind of a teaser. Okay, let's do the East Texas one and see how that goes. Did a couple online challenges and played around with that. And the more I looked into it, the more events you started to find. And then, here I am today. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. But going from that FS10, I ended up going to a Jackson Coosa and try going on Lake Fork in 25-mile-an-hour winds in that boat. Never do it again. I ended up with a pedal drive at the end of my first season.
I got you.
So
So you went and you're in a Wilderness Systems now, right?
yes, I've got a Radar 135 with the Helix drive, and then I have an Attack 140 with the Torpedo. I take both of them with me just in case one of them goes down.
I got you. Now, being a married man and having the family like that, when you started really kind of getting serious into this and telling the wife that, hey, I'm going to go travel across the country, and I knew you, and we're going to get into work in a minute, so I'm not there yet, but you travel a good bit. But when you start telling friends and family and the wife that, hey, there's a kayak tournament across the country, I'm going to go enter. I mean, how did that go over?
She supports me on it, so I can't complain with it. Yeah, she likes to read on the weekends. My daughters go to their mom's house every other week, so during those weekends, like she'll sit here and read all weekend and just relax.
Now, I heard an interesting rumor earlier that your youngest daughter, and her name escapes me. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But your what's her name?
Emma.
So I heard a rumor earlier that Emma no longer cares where you rank on the leaderboard. She's looking for where Christine Fisher is.
Yes. Emma.
Here's Emma right here. Emma.
She's laughing in the background.
Emma, hey, darling, how are you?
Good.
So now come here for a minute. Come in a little closer here. So now I hear that when Dad comes home from a tournament, you're not really concerned where Dad finished. You want to know where Christine finished, huh? I love it. Now you just got you're getting your own boat, or you got your own boat?
I already have my own.
But you want pedals, right?
Yeah.
So Dad needs to go to Florida in a couple weeks and win a bunch of money so you can get a kayak with pedals, right?
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Good deal. I appreciate it. Okay. Hey, give a big shout out to Christine. She'll tell you, she'll give you a shout out back.
She's gone.
Okay. That's phenomenal, man. Love that. Love the girl power. Love that you're raising them up in that. Mine, my youngest or my only girl isn't there yet. So when she gets there, man, that's incredible. Love it. All right. I want to dive in a little bit and talk about competitive drive and focus, because I've gotten some good stories, but I also have a firsthand account. I come around the corner. We had a film crew with us down at the NC this year on your home waters, and I come around the corner, and you're soaking wet from head to toe at 8 o'clock. It was like 8:15.
Yeah, it was early and cold.
Yeah, I mean, it was early and cold, and you're drenched. And I look at you, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Like, what happened? Like, you know, the life safety kicks in." And you're like, yeah, man, I lost my phone. I went in after it.
I found it. Oh, that sucked. I should have thought about it prior to, because it was one of those, I lost as soon as I dropped it. I staked out my paddle, so I knew where the vicinity it was. But my NRS boots, I should have took those off. My sweatshirt, I should have took it off. Should have emptied out my pockets. But I didn't do it. I just jumped in.
But I mean, when it went, you threw your paddle or your stake out, right? And to be right there.
Yep.
And then you just jumped over the side.
That's it.
There wasn't a second thought, nothing.
No, because I had 2 fish on it that I hadn't submitted yet. And I sat there for like maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It was like, okay, it's either my event's over with or I'm going swimming. So I went swimming.
That's incredible. Now, how was the rest of the day? We eventually split ways. We shot a phenomenal segment. KBF and the higher ups. Like, I don't know where that went, but that footage needs to make the light of day somewhere.
The rest of the day, I mean, I think I ended up with like 81, 82 inches that day. It wasn't bad, but I lost 2 at the end of the day, and it's wonderful because Duke Catch Outdoors was with me. So we have it on video. I lost a double digit probably the last 45 minutes of the tournament.
That's funny that you even said that, because that's my next line, right? That's where I'm going to next, because I talked with Duke, and Duke, we all know Duke. I love Duke to death. And Duke's obviously you guys are good friends. But Duke talks about that was the biggest fish he's ever seen physically. He's ever been present to see was the fish that you lost. And this was day 2 or day 1?
Day 1.
So, and he said that he's never seen anybody turn back and go back to work in the way that you did?
And I broke off like 5 minutes prior to that on another big one. As soon as I set the hook, it snapped. But I should have retied, and I didn't do it. So that one was on me. But yeah, it just, I mean, kept my head into it. And I mean, I'll give Duke and them some credit because that day was rough, and I just stayed with it. And I knew there was a big fish sitting in that cove. That's Duke. I called it. It was like, if the pattern keeps up, there's one right here. And 2 casts later on the same tree, there it was.
Now, I want to stay there. And again, I think I feel like you're skirting me. I'm gonna put the pressure on you because again, I think you're probably one of the most cerebral guys in this 10 house coming in, and I think you downplay that a lot, Jamie. I'm being honest with you. What is the focus? There are very few men that can lose a double digit and turn back and go back to work.
Well, if you watch the video, I do throw a fit like a 2-year-old for about 30 seconds. And I mean, slam my paddle, said a couple nice choice words, slam my net in the bottom of the boat. And there's not much I could do. If I could have rolled around on that boat, I would have. But just stay focused with it. That's the thing. It's like I've tried not to. My first season, I've gotten frustrated, and I've tried to. I'll sit and just take a couple minutes, take a couple breathers if I know I'm starting to get frustrated, and then go right back to it. But I've seen people burn out, like their heads get to them. And that day that I saw you on Caddo, there was a couple guys getting followed around. I felt bad for them, but they were struggling, and you could tell. It was like, man, just slow down.
We've seen it when we go out with the camera crew. We see a whole different side of you guys. If I just roll up on some of y'all and the cameras aren't with me and we're talking, you guys are a lot of you guys. I'm not throwing everybody on blast, but right. A lot of you guys are fine. But there are a group of guys that we've put in front of the camera that, dude, it's a pressure cooker. I'm sorry, it is.
It is.
And now I will say KBF has gotten better. I was on the other end this year listening to a couple of conversations. When you're in those top couple of spots on day 2, definitely day 3, that's what we're building a TV show here too. And so, but I've heard him say, okay, they're on fish. And I've heard him ask, are you comfortable with the camera crews coming before they start shipping us all out? And from what I understand, this year in Guntersville, there's going to be even more camera crews. Mm-hmm. So, it's interesting for me to see. But again, to hear Duke and to hear so many reactments or so many statements about how you kept focus, just honestly, man, I even in this house, no disrespect to the other 10, I think there's only another 2 or 3 in this whole house that would return to focus the way that you did. And that intrigues me as a human being and as an angler and as a competitor. The way that you did, the way that you're able to do that, I think is remarkable. And I think that is a big part of why you find the success that you find.
Nickajack was another one. Second day at Nickajack, I lost a 21.5 off my board at 8 o'clock.
Golly.
I was so mad. It's like I just sat there for about 10 minutes and just went right back at it. Caught another 30 fish, but I tied the biggest fish of the entire event and lost it at the boat. Or lost it actually off of my board. And up there, big fish are really hard to find.
Yeah, Nickajack. Nickajacks are beautiful. Lots of fish. Size is not in 5 years, that lake's gonna be fire. So all right, I want to shift gears here, bro, and I want to take a hard left, and I want to preference this with guys. I'm not throwing Jamie on the spot here. Some of the things we have conversations about what we can bring up and what we can't, and I asked Jamie if we could talk about this, so you guys don't throw me under the bus. I'm not surprising him with this conversation. I want to talk about Rebecca Golden. Mm-hmm. For those of you guys that are unfamiliar, Miss Rebecca Golden was and is a giant part of this sport. She's the reason for the golden hour that we have now. She was, if you didn't get an opportunity to meet her and to know her and be around her, just a remarkable human being, a remarkable soul. And in November of 2018, on Toledo Bend, Rebecca lost her life. Jamie was the first on the scene, straight up. And Jamie, you haven't really talked about this publicly, and I'd love for you to talk to us a little bit and just kind of walk us through from the time y'all got the call that Rebecca wasn't back at the ramp up until you don't want to talk about it anymore.
I mean, it doesn't bother me now. The first 6 months afterwards were pretty rough. But that day, I mean, she'd gotten there the night before in the best mood ever, giving us all popcorn. I mean, she was bubbly as she always is. And we didn't, there was some things that after the fact we thought about. It was kind of strange, but like that morning was just like any other morning. We all went out. Me, Matt Scotch, and Dwayne Taft, we all went to breakfast. It was raining, so we weren't in any hurry to go out. And especially it had been in the 40s, so it was cold. I think we headed out probably 10:30. She left out 6:30 that morning, like always, and ended up coming back to the house at some point, hung out with Siddiqui for a little bit, and then rolled back out, and we all kind of did the same thing. But we had plans that night. We all cooked dinner. Brad Case was there, so we were on a pretty tight schedule, and it was just one of those. We all sat down to have dinner together, and it was a weird one because I'd fallen and busted my butt at the boat ramp, and I was waiting on her to get to the house because I wanted to ask her what the symptoms of a broken butt were, and just thought it was going to be comical. And we sat around, and it was like we started asking questions about 7 o'clock. Say, where's she at? Anybody seen her? Jason Brooks was with us. And Mel Ash was there, and we're all just back and forth. And I guess about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it started getting a little bit later, and we all started making phone calls. We figured maybe she'd gone out to dinner with somebody else, and it hadn't happened. So I ended up getting on her Facebook, and when she was on the water, she'd check in on Facebook every now and then. And I noticed that she hadn't been on it in quite a few hours. So Jason Broach was with us, and he actually knew where she had launched. So he went to the boat ramp. And by this time, it was probably 10, a little after 10 o'clock. And we were all starting to get in panic mode at that point. And Jason calls us back and says that her car's still at the ramp. And as soon as that happened, I mean, everybody just kind of went into, okay, we got to go mode. I mean, Cody and Mel Ash went with me. We threw Cody's trailer on the back of my truck, threw one of my kayaks in my truck, took off, and we were at the boat ramp within 15 minutes after the phone call with boats, everything ready to roll. We started unloading I don't know if it was the fire department or Parks and I think the fire department showed up. Somebody did. And we asked him when they were going to have available boat in the water. He couldn't give us any info, so we unloaded. And they kind of hesitated on letting us go, but we didn't really give them much of an option. We took off, and during this process, Dwayne Taft had got back to the house. He had to go to Houston for a little bit. He grabbed one other guy that was there. He threw his trailer on, took off to another boat ramp. We all kind of knew where we were going, so he went to the back of where we thought she was fishing. And but I guess me, Cody, and Mel, we hugged the bank line. Cody was the closest one to the bank. I was about 20 yards out, and the Mel was about 20 yards out. We stayed close so that we didn't get in any trouble while we were out there looking as well. And we came around the corner, and we saw her boat on the point, and ended up finding her there. Yeah, it was a crazy night. So with everybody that was in that house and everybody that stood on that point during the whole process and went through it, they'll always have my respect. I mean, we all sat there, and somebody's basically garage off of a point. We didn't know who they were. We were all just standing in there. 8 of us huddled up, just trying to stay warm, waiting on someone to come. And so luckily we got a hold of Chad, and Chad went above and beyond that night, went and picked up my boat trailer that would hold 4 kayaks, because there was no way that us 3 could make it back. And then we picked up Rebecca's boat as well and headed in. And it was a crazy night. We'll put it that way. I had some getting back on the water for the first month after that was pretty crazy.
It's intense, man. You know, for this community in this sport to lose somebody that has as much life and as much love and as much compassion, and just, I don't know that she ever met someone that she didn't just consume. And it's just, it's a tough loss. And it's something that like you said, the group of you guys that stood in that garage and that were there for the rest of that event and stuff like that. It's something that even more so brings you guys a sense of community and a sense of togetherness in a real sense of life and death. And I know that you were former military. I know that you travel over the world. So many of these guys are. So many of this stuff does, and so often we lose sight on what's important. And so I thank you, brother, for sharing that story with us tonight, because I feel like this community hasn't really had a firsthand. We haven't had you or any of these guys really give that side of that story. And thank you for being willing to share that with us tonight, man. It means a lot.
No
I appreciate it.
It's just, I mean, I wish people would start to realize. I mean, there was 8 of us on that point that night. Did we worry about, I mean, what group we were fishing, or, I mean, any of the BS that you see going around online anymore? No, it was 8 guys trying to find their friend that was out there fishing. And I mean, you take care of your own. That's one of the reasons I'm still in it. I mean, I would do anything for the group of guys that was there that night, or anybody else in that fact. I mean,
I fully believe that all of us in this community would, man. So, like I said, thank you so much, Rebecca and the Golden Hour. That's something that's always going to stay. Dwayne Wally and the guys at Tourney X and everybody that's involved with everything Rebecca Golden. You know, I still keep her logos on my jersey and on my truck, and I know so many others do. You know, big shout out, much love, Rebecca. We're always thinking about you, darling. And Jamie, I appreciate your time, man, rolling into that thing, dude. We're gonna see if we can roll into something a little bit more lighthearted here, guys. So if you guys are just tuning in, y'all are, if you're just tuning in, you want to go back and catch all of that. You can do that 2 different ways. You can go to our podcast. Once these things go live, you can go to every major podcast platform and download all of these episodes and catch up and hear all of these things. That's a story, and that's a piece that you're going to want to hear if you're just tuning in. You can go to kayakbassfishing.com/the weigh-in and catch up with all these episodes. Secondly, and lastly, if you guys are just tuning in, I want you to do 2 things for me. I want you to go and smash that share button. Let everybody know that we're fixing to get into the 10 conversation with Mr. Jamie Broad. And then I want you to drop in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from. We love seeing those kind of comments, those kind of engagements around. And we want to remind you guys that if you hashtag when you share this content or any of the interviews that we're doing for the next 2 weeks with all of these 10 competitors, if you hashtag DZ the 10 and you tag one of these competitors, like tonight, if you're pulling for Jamie, for instance, if you hashtag DZ the 10 and you tag Jamie Broad in the share of this video or any of the other videos, the interviews, at the end of all this, Chad's going to pull a random winner out of a randomizer, and somebody's going to be $1,000 richer in DZ gift cards. I can't think of anybody that doesn't want another $1,000 worth of truck accessories. So, all right, we're going to shift gears, Jamie. We're going to shift gears, man. I'm going to throw something up here on the screen, and these 11 mugs right here are 10 mugs, not counting your own. This is the competition, my brother. This is This is like, it's great to have some community. It's great to be a part of a brotherhood, but these guys are trying to stop you from getting $10,000 richer.
Oh, I know. I fish with most of them on a regular basis. If not, I talk to them on a regular basis. It's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a tight race. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what some people are thinking. You may have one or two people that find a good spot, but trying to keep it up for 2 days. I mean, there's a lot of water down there.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that a little bit. All right. So first off, the 10 and what the 10 is. All right, were you familiar last year? I mean, I know you were, but I mean, what have you seen? What have you heard? What are you expecting coming into this 10? Being this is your rookie event, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a rookie event.
For the 10. I mean.
I'm happy that it's on the Kissimmee Chain instead of being at Bienville again. Because I never got to fish it, so some of the guys being in it multiple years, they knew the lakes, they knew the kind of the layout, so there was a little bit of an advantage there. So at least this is more of an equal playing field for us going into it. But don't get me wrong, some of those, Cody, he always finds fish. Same way with Josh. It's going to happen.
Well, and it's funny you even mentioned those two. Cody is the reigning 10 champ. This is his third event, and Josh Stewart's never missed a 10.
I know.
So you take a couple of guys like that. You add in Brad Case, who is who shares a lot of the same water down in your neck of the woods, and you take a guy like that this is his second year. Then you look at the Texas Hammer and Matthew Scotch and everything that he's doing and what he's put together in the season he's had. I don't know that anybody in any sport has done in the time span what he's done. Matthew Scotch this season was on fire, but he's got to travel with it. And he said and I'm going to bring that up with him just on January 7th, because that's been the heel. That's what everybody points to. When we talk about Scotch, people go, but I don't think that but's necessary. I want to find out what he's got to say about it. You look at guys like Ken Wood, Mike Elsey, the Tennessee Hammer, and Russ Snyders. Derek Brundle is a sleeper that I'm scared some of you guys are sleeping on. I'm telling you, Derek Brundle, y'all listen to my words. This cat is gonna surprise some folks. I'm telling y'all, just wait. And then we got a 15-year-old that nobody saw coming.
Yep. Dylan's been on a roll.
It's going to be very, very interesting. Jamie, I want to know, which of these three guys do you think are going to give you a run for your money? Which of these three guys do you think you're going to have a hard time beating in the 10? You got to give me three names, bro.
That's a hard one, because there's five that really stand out that I think they're going to do good on any water.
Drop your list. Let's hear it.
Russ, he came in this year and just hammered it. So Scotch is the same way. Cody and Josh, those two, they've been on every leaderboard on, I think, every event they've been in this year. So, and then Brad Case, this is right up his alley. I'd love for me and Brad to go down there and throw a frog clinic on for like 2 days, but we'll see how it all plays out.
It's gonna be interesting.
It really is, and it's gonna depend on what the weather does. Right now, it was 85 there today.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get close.
Now, last night during Brad Case's show, if you guys missed it, we launched this graphic and we launched this campaign. This is the first, I don't know of any tournament ever where every single place is paid out. When we put this up last night, Jamie, what was your thought process, brother?
Super excited. It's great for everybody to have an opportunity to take home a little cash. And also, it's going to relieve some of the stress for some of the anglers. And knowing that you're going to take a check home no matter what, now you just get to go fishing. And if you can end up in the top 4, great. Get a little bit extra, but from 6th place to 12th, all the same paycheck.
Now, you just referenced the 12th place. I want to talk about that. The 12th place right now doesn't exist.
Right.
There's 11 of you guys that are all these beautiful faces down here in the left-hand corner if you guys are following along at home. So with that, the Tinvitational takes place a couple days beforehand. I'm pretty sure all 11 of you are fishing it. What's your thoughts on somebody coming in and winning their way into this?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if they can come in and compete with us 11 on that body of water, I mean, why not? I mean, obviously they've earned their shot somehow or another to get into the Invitational. So, yeah, I mean, I see everybody's both sides of it, of why they should and why they shouldn't be allowed. But I mean, end of the day, it is what it is.
Well, now we had Corey Dreyer. Corey was a co-champion in the first event with Ron Champion, Mr. Champion himself. They co-championed the first ever 10. Corey's already said that especially seeing this payout kick up yesterday, this is a lot more incentive for a guy like him. I mean, all of these guys that are qualified for the Invitational have proven they know they have what it takes.
Yeah. And there's some sticks coming down. I know Corey's coming. I'm still waiting to see if he makes it down or not. Jody Queen's coming in. So there's some sticks coming down for the Invitational. So, but that's 11. We will be playing defense on that one as well. So
I got you.
We'll see how it goes. It's going to be fun no matter how you look at it. Us 11 in the house. Oh God, it's going to be a fun week.
Well, that's my next topic, right? Let me shove these down out of here. That's my next topic. All right, so all of you guys coming into the house, you guys are gonna KBF rolls out the red carpet. I don't have all my notes because I'm not at home, but you guys are staying in a phenomenal. It's basically a neighborhood full of mansions. You guys are all going to be under one roof. All your meals. You guys are going to walk into all types of of goodies and swag. You guys be in one house. What's your thoughts there? I know that in the NC last year, your house was a big gathering spot. So I know you're not a stranger to that, but do you think there's anything any different coming into this from being the hangout place that you guys have had before?
No, it'll be nice to meet some of the other guys that I'm not very familiar with or have met once or twice. So that'll be fun to just sit down and get their perspective on it, especially from the Northeast. I don't know many guys from that area. And so it's going to be nice to see what is exactly going through their heads at the time, because it's going to be a lot of grass, shallow water. So it's going to be a fun week.
I fully agree, man. I think it's going to be a blast. I think it's going to be a slobber knocker. I'm hoping the weather stays in the pattern that we're looking at. I've looked at some 30-day scales, and if it holds, it's you and Brad Case. Y'all might be able to put on a clinic.
If the frog bite holds out, oh boy, it's gonna be fun. I'm going back to lacrosse in August just for the frog bite.
I got you. Rolling into this event, what's your goal? What are you rolling in the house expecting, and then what are you planning on rolling out of the house with?
I mean, honestly, my goal for this year was to make it to the 10. So, I mean, I've got no expectations going into it. I'm going to go in, fish with my friends, have a good time, and I'm going to go fishing. And we'll see what happens. Don't get me wrong. I'm doing my homework, but I'm not as stressed out going into this event as I have been a lot of the other events. I mean, this is new body of water for me, but end of the day, and I'll have plenty of time to pre-fish, but I mean, we're all going to walk away with something, and even getting into the 10 is a huge thing in itself. So in my mind, I mean, I've already won from what I expected of this season. So
love it. Now, what's your plans for the rest of 2020? This kicks off the season for you. What's the rest of 2020 shaping up?
Oh God, many miles on the road. It's I travel with Dwayne Taff, as many people know. He's my road buddy, and we go to every event together for the most part. We've got it broke down, and it's ridiculous this year. You really gonna have to cover a lot of miles if you want to hit the events. We're gonna try to hit as many of the KBF Pro events, hopefully a couple of the trail events. I've got to get into the Challenge Series Championship because there's no way I'm letting it come to Caddo and me not being in it.
Yep.
And then hit some of the bass. Like I said, lacrosse in August. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. So it's a juggling act right now. There's just so many events. It's like, oh, I want to go to this one, but it conflicts with this one. So yeah.
But that's a problem so many in this community prayed for the last 2 and 3 years. Now it's here. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out and how it all pans out. I'm excited as a fan for all of you guys to get this opportunity to go and see how everything plays out. It's going to be a fun one, man. It's going to be a fun one. I'd like to know if my final question for you before we kind of start winding this thing down, and I'm going to throw these faces up here one more time. But if and I meant to throw this at Brad last night, so don't feel like you got a question he didn't get. The time got away from me with Brad. If you're not picking you to take home 10 grand, which one of these guys you think is taking home 10 grand, Jamie?
Oh, and Cody's going to be my pick if it's not me. And that was his backyard for a few years.
Yeah.
So he knows the area.
Does it feel like to anybody else? And I'm gonna ask this to you guys listening on. I think Chad's even in here, so I'm gonna throw this out there. Duke's there, Dustin's is in the house, Ryan's in here, Shane, and we got a house full of folks. Does it feel like to anybody else that Cody always has an advantage? Can somebody explain that to me? That's a rhetorical question, but I don't understand how Cody's always got an advantage.
Wait till you have him on. Get his history. I got it one night.
I've fished with Cody. I spent a lot of time with Cody. I love Cody Milton.
He comes and crashes at my house. I had to hit him up one night. It was like, you've been fishing FLW since you were 13?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now that explains some stuff.
Yeah. He's not only that, but he's a big smiling, goofy, grin, fun loving, big, lanky, you know what I mean? But when you put his butt in that Hobie.
Oh, he schooled me in Arkansas on one. We were throwing the same bait. I watched him catch 13 to my 1. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what do you think about the age gap and having, we got a 42-year age gap from Brad Case. I'm not throwing him under the bus, but in the house, there's a lot of diversity. You guys are from all over the map. And really from all different ages, all different generations. How do you think that plays out?
It's a mix this year. I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm the first guy ever from Louisiana. There's a couple guys from Maine. I mean, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi. I mean, there is a good group and of all ages. So, I mean, Dylan, I just want to see how he holds up after 4 hard days of fishing with us, and then with us heckling in the house and everything else. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
That's not the first time I've heard that conversation. Is how does Dylan hold up? And at the end of the day, Dylan's a 15-year-old kid.
That's it.
I've never seen a 15-year-old kid. Let me rephrase that. I've seen very few 15-year-old kids carry themselves the way that Dylan does.
Mm-hmm. He's a good kid, and that's what I want to see, because that's a lot, even for, anybody, any good athlete. I mean, us getting up at 4 a.m., hammering it out for 4 solid days. Yeah, day 2 for the 10 is the stamina is going to really start setting in. You're going to have it.
Now, we've got a couple of you catch guys in the 10. Are you guys, are y'all jiving anything back and forth? Are y'all talking any? Are y'all, like I said, I know you're friends with all these guys, but is there any smaller tribalism going on inside the 10 that you can let us in on?
Well, I don't know if there's any actually. I'm the only one off the catch team that's in the 10. Now there's some coming for the Invitational. That's a different story. So I mean, we've talked a little bit. I mean, the catch team is its own entity. We're like our own little family inside of a family. So it's gonna be a fun one. I can't wait to get them down there as well.
I got you, man. I got you. Well, dude, Jamie, man, I'm excited about this event. I can't wait to get down here. I told you earlier when we were talking pre-interview stuff. I'm trying not to wish away the whole first month of 2020, but holy crap, am I excited! And I'm ready to get down to Kissimmee, Florida, and go fish the Kissimmee Chain. Big shout out to Kissimmee Sports and everything they're doing and hosting all these guys. Big shout out to DZ Truck Accessories for being the title sponsor of the 10, and a big thank you to Kayak Bass Fishing for everything that they're doing. There's a whole lot of money on the line for these 11 guys who have put in the miles, put in the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the hook sets to earn their way into this house. This is going to be a great event. Every single night over the next couple of days, we'll be bringing you guys in. I think this is only our second interview out of the 11. And every single night right here at 8:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Central, bringing you guys another interview, another face, another backstory on these 11 guys getting their way down here into this event. If you fish KBF events before and you think you're qualified for the 10 Invitational, I'm telling you right now, and Jamie will tell you, go sign up for that event. Go get into that, because it's an opportunity to not only win that in a 100% payout, there is zero holdback in the 10 Invitational. It's 100% payback this year coming out of the 10 Invitational. No more of the other fees that we had to deal with other properties. We're not having to do that with where we're going. Excuse my repetitiveness there. But we're not having to deal with that with where you guys are going. So it's 100% payback. And if you can take home first place, if you can beat out these other 11 guys who are going to be playing defense, you got a shot then at being one of 12 to chase $10,000 in the KBF DZ the 10. So good stuff, man. Jamie, I appreciate you so much coming on, dude. I'd love to roll out the red carpet for you, give you an opportunity to thank any kind of sponsors, thank any of the family members, give any kind of shout outs, bro. The mic is yours.
Yeah, sponsors. I mean, I've stuck with sticking with the just small group. Attorney Tag, Bill Rodriguez, Lace, and his wife, couldn't ask for better people. So, I mean, Bill's always been there for me for everything. Wilderness Systems, Dwayne Wally takes care of me on anything that I need. Can't complain on that whatsoever. I really appreciate everything they've done for me. And then Duke with Catch, you couldn't ask for a better guy. I mean, it's been a true honor to be on the Catch team. So I wanted to really thank him and David Brooks. He's the one that got me on the team in the beginning. So it's been fun. I appreciate everything they've done.
Now, I can't let you leave. I think you were getting away. I can't let you leave. See, I thought you were getting away there, right? Tell me a little bit about, you're known as a joker. You're known as playing a prank. You've thrown some smoke bombs. What's that about, Jamie?
I keep some stuff in my truck just in case emergencies happen.
Some stuff in my truck.
I say I have one of my buddies owns all the fireworks stands around Shreveport, Bossier, so I get free fireworks. So I carry some stuff with me. I used to carry Roman candles in my crate. So you never know.
You never know when you're gonna need a Roman candle.
You've been on Cato. I mean,
I can't even. Fair point. I can't even argue it. Yeah, makes sense.
David Brooks, when we were at La Crosse, he had bought a truck a couple months prior and was having some issues with it back and forth. I'd already gotten most of the guys with the smoke bombs when they got there, but he didn't know anything about it. So we all had it set up. As soon as he pulled up, I slipped out one door. He went in the other door. I threw the smoke bomb under, and it was one of the ones that smokes for like 5 minutes. So yeah, I run inside. I was like, David, why is your truck smoking? And all you see is him run out the door, and you see him run past every window of the house. Everybody in the house is like dying, and he starts grabbing rods out of the back of his truck because he thinks he's burning down. Yeah.
Go after the rods. That's
Yeah.
what that was a concern.
Oh, I was on the grass laughing. I mean, I was dying. Yeah. His truck smelled like sulfur for a month.
Save the rods.
Oh, that's it. He was going for his fishing gear.
I mean, you know, there seems to be a trend here with you guys. Your phone goes, your rods, like save whatever it takes to be competitive.
That's it.
I love it.
I've got a few tricks that I'm bringing down to Florida because Duke and the guys from Catch are staying at a house close to us. So there may still be some surprises in for them.
Duke, I'm watching you, bro. You'll be messing. Don't. Yeah, I'm putting it on notice right now. Dude. All right, man. Well, dude, I couldn't let you get away without talking about prank wars and everything else. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been a part of the little private group that we got going on in text, and I think there's some guys gunning for you off the water.
Oh, they are. It's coming. I have no doubt.
I love it, man. Well, dude, thanks so much for coming and being a part of this, dude.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a phenomenal 2019 season. You're definitely a guy to watch. Anybody that didn't know that before tonight, damn sure knows it now. You put in the work, you put in the time on the water, off the water. I'm excited to go down here and see how you mix in with these 10 guys, and I'm excited to see what you do in 2020, bro. I got nothing but love for you, and I'll see you in Florida in a couple weeks, my man.
Sounds good. We'll see you there.
Appreciate it so much, man. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, Jamie.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that about wraps it up. Big shout out to Jamie. Thank you so much, brother, for coming on the show tonight and talking with us, sharing some stories. I'll see him in just a couple of weeks, along with these other 11 guys, these other 10 guys, and everybody coming down for the 10 Invitational. It's going to be a great tournament, a great series. If you guys are just tuning in and getting in with any of this stuff, make sure that you caught up on this episode. You can catch Brad Case's episode from last night, and you can catch up on the Night of Champions, where we had 3 out of the 4. The only guy we were missing was Ron. On the first night, you can catch all of those episodes. Everything's already available up on the podcast. This episode will be up and available tomorrow morning on the podcast. If you're just looking for the audio, you can find this video in the archives on Facebook, on Kayak Bass Fishing. You can find it at kayakbassfishing.com/the weigh-in. If you guys need anything out of me, this is where I'll be. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, where we are having conversation with Mr. Casey Reed. So it's definitely going to be a Saturday night show that you definitely are going to want to tune into. Casey's going to have a lot to talk about, I think. I've got a lot of questions for Casey. So I want to see where the show goes tomorrow night. It'll be super, super awesome. If you guys need anything out of me, I'm your host of The Weigh-In, Scott Beutjer, telling you guys to tackle your dreams, and we'll catch up with you guys next time. See ya. Holla. How do you turn this thing off? Anybody know? I really should be at home right now. I got to know, are my kids bathed? Like, where's my